What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Hey, today on the program I have Cole Parker. Cole Parker. You're going to get to know a little bit more about Cole Parker in the next few minutes, so stick around. You don't want to miss that. Not even a little bit. This week's show's on Friday night, my one public show. I have the video dance party karaoke jam over at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. It's a little stage set up just for you. They have they have a full bar, kitchen's open. They got some great food over there too. And from what I understand, the more you eat, the more you can drink. I don't know. It's not me. It's science. Maybe it's pseudoscience. Drink responsibly. They also have pool tables. In fact, on Friday night, they got a pool tournament. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, I encourage you to check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Do it. Be there. Join me. Won't you join me? Join me. All right, let's get into it with Cole Parker. I got him on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, check out the video version, and you can see Cole Parker right next to me. Skyping Cole Parker now. All right.
Good to meet with you, my man.
Cole Parker in the house, man. All right, I don't do a lot of research on these things, but I can't help but research. You come down my Facebook feed, you go down my social medias, and I know a little bit about you now. But I want you to give yourself the little blurb. All right, if you were writing your own Wikipedia page, those top one or two paragraphs.
I got somebody contact me want me to work on that as we speak. So,
well, hit me with that. What would Cole Parker say about it?
So, look, I'm a fourth generation musician, right? I grew up with every instrument in the house, from steel guitars, saxophones, fiddles, pianos, upright basses, you name it, it was in the house. And I grew up with access to all of it. And my father is a world-renowned steel guitar player. He's played with all of the greats. He's a household name, Forrest Parker, for those that are familiar with steel guitar. He's great at what he does. Of course, he wanted me to pick up the steel guitar, and you've got with a steel guitar, you've got both hands and both feet and both knees doing something at all times.
Well, tell me a little bit about the steel guitar, because I do like that instrument, the tabletop type stringed instrument.
Yeah, if somebody didn't know any better, they would think you're playing a keyboard or something.
Yeah, you know? I mean, I've seen people, and in fact, I was watching a show yesterday. The guy was playing a guitar across his lap, where he's playing a guitar across his lap, kind of making it feel like a steel guitar. He was using one of those bottle. Bottle slide to kind of give it that feel, but it doesn't have the pedals that a steel guitar does. Tell me about what's going on below the waist on a steel guitar.
Those pedals, they push and pull the string, so you can go up a half step or down a half step or down a whole step. You know, Dad always makes a joke and says you're always going to be a half step off.
But does it run like a piano, I guess, or like a trombone? You got to know the position just by feel and by sound.
You've got your A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you know your A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you can take your pedals and then go up a half a note or come down a half a note. And the more you play with it, then it's become second nature. It's a wild instrument.
Now, did you get to see your dad? Did you get to see your dad play that instrument with some people?
Did I get to see Dad play?
Mm-hmm.
I sure did.
Well, good.
I'm gonna tell you a funny joke real quick. Mm-hmm. I was going to Dad's gigs. I was probably around 15 or 16, and I would get up on stage in between their sets and play. And we were in a dive bar. I want to say it's Greenwood or Greenville, Mississippi. One of the two. I think Greenville. Some sports bar, and they were in there playing and sounding great, playing all that old country music. And then I get up and play. And of course, there's a younger crowd in there, right? You know, I get up there and start playing, and Dad tells me after about the third or fourth show, he says, "Cole, you're gonna have to start getting your own shows. You're taking away from us." So I was about 15 or 16, right? Well, and I heard it from my own father's mouth that, okay, Cole, you've got something here. Let's take it to the next level. So I started taking it more seriously, you know, and here I am today.
Man, that lets me know that at least your dad was backing you up in this endeavor. You know.
Well, so my dad put a plastic guitar in my hand when I was 8 years old. Plastic guitar, nylon. I mean, something you'd find in Fred's dollar store or something. You know, put it in my hand and told me to learn it. Of course, he taught me my ABCDFG, and my mother, she's also musically inclined, and she helped me out with chord progressions and just little things that I had the best of both worlds, helped me master my craft in music, you know. So Dad didn't pressure me to learn the steel guitar. I know that there's a lot of musician friends of mine and his that say, Cole, you cannot let Forrest pass away without taking on some of that knowledge. And so I've learned. If you go to my Facebook, anybody that's listening, this is my personal page. I think it's on my music page. I was just goofing off. I went in there and played I can do steel guitar rag, you know, I can fool the public. Anybody that knows Bob Wills or anything like that, you know, they know what steel guitar rag is. But that comes from, I can't remember that. Who was the steel player on that? Lucky Ocean. I think that's who it was.
Well, we don't do facts here, man.
People don't check us out. Some of the greatest musicians that you'll ever sit around a table and just even talk to, much less let them play you something. You know, they're very well educated. I've had such a great opportunity to be surrounded by so many fantastic musicians, and there's too many to list. It's and they weren't. The funny thing is that, you know, these guys had played in and out of Nashville, but they weren't like, you know, known in Nashville. But sometimes it's just like when you're on the road traveling somewhere and you're looking for a place to eat, and this place just stands out to you. It's nothing mainstream. You never heard of it. Just stands out to you, and you go in, and it's some of the best food you ever put in your mouth.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Throughout that story, man, what I'm getting from it is you're a good boy and you're a good man for taking up that steel guitar and honoring your father. And that's one of the things we're supposed to be doing is, you know, not only trying to become good people on our own, but also honoring our parents too. And that was a nice way to do that. I'm sure he felt good about it. What did he say? So these steel guitars, my dad's teacher was John Huey. John Huey was Vince Gill's steel guitar player for years. Anytime you turn on Vince Gill and listen to one of his songs, that steel guitar that you hear crying in the background is John Huey. Now, so John and Huey and I can get into some stories here. John Huey and Harold Jenkins, who was Conway Twitty, and my dad's dad, Brad, they all grew up around Kahoma, Mississippi, and Moon Lake. So they all, my great grandfather was the one that had a radio show at KFFA radio, and invited who was then Harold Jenkins to come be on a part of the radio show, and that's when his career took off. Man. He changed his name to Conway Twitty, and they're still family friends of ours, and we go back, you know, long time. But that's where they grew up all together. Cole Porter.
And so
Cole Parker.
John Huey and my dad linked up together, and Dad said, "I want to learn this steel guitar." Dad was young. I'm 35 years old. He was probably in his late teens or something around it, late teens, early 20s, and said he wanted to learn it. Well, John took him seriously. And so they both sat down together every day or every weekend whenever they could. And Dad started learning everything he could do lick for lick. And John was good. And so now to this day, when John passed away, my dad he still plays on one of the main steel guitars that John Huey played on when he was alive and playing for guys like Vince Gill and all of them, right? He still plays on that today. That the video that I did the steel guitar rag on is John Huey's guitar.
Man,
he's got some couple more in the closet, and you know, I wish. I tell Dad all the time, man. I wish that me and you would have been buddies growing up, and I would have had that opportunity to be surrounded by so many great musicians as you were. As a steel guitar player, when you're good, everybody wants you. You know, Dad got a phone call from George Jones, road manager, when he was in his early 20s. He was farming for my dad, and whoever the guy was told him that they wanted him on the road with George Jones, and Dad couldn't go. He couldn't leave. You're talking about honoring your father, your parents. He didn't go. He chose to stay and help my granddad farm, and he regrets that to this day. You know, he's like, I wonder what it would have been like, or what my life would be like now had I made that decision to go. And so you've got hard choices in life that, you know, my parents, they're behind me 110%. But music it's a cutthroat business. It's very fast paced. You got to have a level head. You got to be about your business. You know, everything's not a party. And you'll go places. You will. You'll meet the right people. You always got to have your ears and eyes open. And that's why we're sitting here today.
Yeah, I mean, there's always what ifs and what could have beens in your life, the paths that you choose. And one of those paths that your dad chose was to take care of his family. And
he still played, made a musician out of himself, and made a good name for himself.
Yeah,
you know. Anybody that's listening, you know, take that in just into bites of what I said. There's going to be times in your life where you have to make a tough decision, and you may think that you made the wrong decision, but your life will tell you that you made the right one. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you today. There was a time where I was going to give up music. You know, I had so many other things I could do and going on, and everybody would always tell me how talented I am. And Cole, you got to be doing something with your music more than just playing in bars. You're too good to be here playing for the people that you play. No offense to them or you, you know. And you know, I started taking it seriously, and I've got a lot of great things that just happen. So it's something about building momentum. You know, when you build momentum, things just start happening left and right, and you're just holding on. You know, and that's kind of what I've got going on. And I want to talk to you about the song that we just recorded. What are some of the main questions you would like to ask me about the bow fishing queen?
Man, this is a conversation about you. If you want to talk about song by song what you come up with, I encourage you to do that. But I do want to take you back to when you were 15, and even before that, when you're 8, and your daddy puts a kid's guitar in your hands. I mean,
a plastic guitar, and basically said, "Learn it."
Yeah,
and I did.
But did you learn it on your own, or did you have teachers?
Well, I mean, yeah, he taught me my ABCD. All my basic chords, your 7 chords, right? Taught me those, and then kind of just patted me on my butt and sent me out on my own. I didn't have any kind of formal training. I didn't have a friend or family member come sit with me and work with me. I would just come home from school, turn on the radio, and find that note. I'd find the note with my ear, and then, you know, I knew my chords, so I knew where to go. And so I am self-taught, but I can't give myself all the credit because my dad taught me my 7 chords, the 7 basics.
For sure, Cole Parker. But growing up through school, you said you could have done different paths. You could have given up music. You could have had other interests. What other interests did you have in school?
So I'm a natural salesman. You know, I've got a sales consulting business that I opened up I don't what it was after it was maybe right in either in the beginning or the middle of this pandemic that we've had, right in the middle of it. I knew I had to do something, you know.
Yeah.
And so I created a sales consulting business where I contact a company that sells a product or service, and we're all commission-based contracts. I do all of my own stuff. I'd like to have that business. I mean, there's a joke, and it's true but not true, you know. If you take your business seriously, whether it's music or delivering pizza, it doesn't matter what it is. If you take it seriously and you have fun while you're doing it, you're going to be successful.
Absolutely,
doesn't matter what you're doing. So,
well, Cole Parker,
there's a joke that goes, what's the difference between a large pizza and a musician?
Go ahead. What is it?
Large pizza can feed a family of 4.
You got that right. Starving artist is a thing that I've heard for a long time. It's nice that you have a day job that is affording you the ability.
It really puts things into perspective. It makes you. It's good that you go through those kind of things because it doesn't define you, but it refines you, and it'll let you know. It'll help you make the decision whether you want it bad or not.
Well, Cole Parker, you know? I want you to be able to promote everything that you're doing. Your consulting job is going to be helping you to afford the ability to do the music job. So tell me about the consulting job.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Some of my, I don't really have idols, but people that I look up to in music and business. So one person that comes to mind is Toby Keith. He's got. I know that there's a lot of musicians that have multiple things going on, but Toby Keith has got so many irons in the fire. But you know, his music's great. You know, don't have any complaints about Toby Keith. I think I think he could spend. We all could spend more time on our craft. We all could. So I've got no room to talk about what anybody's not doing. I only focus on myself. But he's somebody that I look up to in music and in business. And George Strait is another. And it's only coincidental that they both have large networks. It's only coincidental.
Well, it is a business, man, and I'm glad that you know the business side. That means you're savvy. Nobody's going to take advantage of Cole Parker.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So I'm trying to drag out the name of your consulting business so people can take advantage of that.
Parker Sales Consulting, LLC.
And what kind of work does it do?
Do what now?
What kind of work does it do? You go to businesses and...
So I can contact a business if they sell a product or service. Now, a sales consulting agency, they have guys in-house that sell a product or service for another company so that company doesn't have to hire employees or extra employees and take out insurance and taxes and liabilities. It cuts all of that out of the way. So where you can deal straight with me. And I'll sell your product or service. Of course, I need to be trained. I will not take on anything that I do not know enough about. You know, if I don't know enough, I don't feel confident. If I don't feel confident, it goes down here. So but that's what I've always been, a natural salesman. Yeah. Doesn't matter. How's that funny quote go? He could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. You know?
I've heard that one before. Eyes to an Eskimo, all that kind of thing. Now, Cole Parker, what kind of training does it take for a Cole Parker to become a consultant, or for anyone to become a consultant?
Well, I was lucky enough to have my dad. He had a telecommunication business, and he sold on-hold messaging. And so if somebody was to call your business, whoever I'm talking to, you or the listener, somebody to call your business and you hear, "Hello, thank you for calling so-and-so. We appreciate your call. Your call is very important to us," blah, blah, blah. He did radio spots. He did it all. Any kind of voiceovers, all of it, right? And he sold that service. So I got to sit along with him in the truck growing up as a little kid, you know, wanting something to drink and got to use the bathroom every 10 minutes. I was just with him, you know, as a kid. I get that's how kids are, you know.
Yeah.
They just you can lead a horse to water, you know. Had I been listening when I was that age, there's no I mean, because it was like hand-to-hand combat. Sometimes I'd go into the sales meeting with him. You know, sometimes I'd stay in the truck. I wish I would have gone every single time where I was wanting to get out of the truck before he was. That's the way I should have been.
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't avail itself to have a little kid hanging around, you know, while menses are doing business.
Right. Well, you know, that's where I get my formal training from, you know, and that in the School of Hard Knocks. You know, it's very important. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Like in my line of work, if you can't make a sale, make a relationship.
Man.
You know, you know, I'm not so much interested in just selling you a product or service, but how can I help you? How can I better your life just me being in it, you know? And that's the way you have to be. There's 6 degrees of separation where you may know somebody that they need for this and vice versa, you know? So building relationships to me is very important in all walks, whether it be music or business, because music is a business, you know? And I don't want to speak a whole lot on the music business, you know. That's something that everybody has to find out for themselves.
Oh, but I want you to speak on the music business, man, because a lot of people can get taken advantage by the music business. Well, have you kept yourself independent?
I can't confidently say that I know enough about it to be teaching anything.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what you know.
To stay protected, lawfully or legally protected at all times. Don't sign anything without reading the fine print. You know, and any kind of like if you were to sign with a label, right? Get to know some of the artists that are in that label and what their goals are and how everything's going for them. Before you look at the name, it's like somebody giving you a free Chevrolet, and you just think Chevrolet, you know, I get a free Chevrolet, and so you go get the keys to your truck, and it's nothing but a bag of bones, you know.
Yeah.
You got to slow down. I'm lucky because I've got a life partner, Stacy Rayner. She's my best friend, my everything, and is 100% behind me. We go things. The music business, once you get the gears turning and all that, it is very fast paced. You're doing something every single day, working towards your next goal. You know, it's like a steady moving train, like a locomotive where you're steady chunking coal in it. Well, the more coal you chunk in it, the faster that train's going to get. But that's the whole point. You want to get it up to a nice cruising speed. And thankfully, I've got Stacy to help me keep me level-headed and remind me of the things that I need to stay on task and not get too far spread out, because I'm only one person.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's nice to have a partner in business, man, like a Stacy, and I'm glad that you have that. But at least you know the basics. From 15 to 35, you know after you've played, you know, a 2, 3, 4 hour show, that you need to get paid at the end of the night. And sometimes those people don't want to pay the musicians. I mean, what can you do about that when the promoter or the bar owner says, nah, you know, we didn't do a lot of business. I know we said this amount of money, but we're going to give you half of that since we didn't make that much.
Money up front.
Oh,
money up front.
That's
money
smart.
up front. I don't care if if you call me and book a gig, my motto, I shouldn't have to send you a contract, right? You can, when somebody contacts you for a gig and they want to book you on such and such date for such and such price, you discuss that over the phone before you hang up. You can send them a contract, electronic, via email, and then have them, you know, e-sign it, whatever you want to call it, and then send it back to you. So if you come to the place and you're pulling up to the venue and it's in flames and burning down, you still get paid.
That's smart business right there. Now you know it's not show friends, it's show business, and that's fantastic, man. So is your Stacy? Is she the muscle? Is she the one that will kind of put the hurting on somebody if they don't go your way?
No,
what does she do for you? What does she do for you? Does she help you with the books?
Well, yes. I mean, she keeps the accounts. Heck, she keeps up with all the Spotify and Apple Music, all the analytics, all the data. You know, she's me. I'm a write a task down and go do it. You know, I'm kind of like, sometimes I can be like a bull in a china cabinet.
Well,
you know, I get things done, but I've got OCD where I can get sidetracked. You know, you got to stay straight on the path, and that's what, man. Anybody listening, you know, it don't matter what you're doing. You cannot tell me it is not so beneficial, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, to have a good woman by your side. Yes. I don't care if you're, I don't care what you're doing, you know. No, we have our ups and downs, but I don't want perfect, you know. And that's business is the music business is the same way. If you're thinking about getting into the music business because you see all these guys that are driving brand new vehicles and partying all the time and looking like they just living life, you know, on cloud nine, right? It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Man, what I got out of that conversation was men and women. I've learned about, if there's one thing I've learned, is men thinking straight lines and women thinking circles. You just said if you get a task, you send a guy out window shopping, he's going to come home with a window. You send a girl out to go shopping. She, what am I going to wear? Should I take this car? Should I take an umbrella? You know, what shoes should I use? You know, should I pay cash or a debit card, or should I take a credit card? Or, you know, they got different. You know, they can think in so many. You know, we're just thinking, go there, get that thing, come back. If there's one thing I've learned about men and women. So yeah, you definitely need a good person in your corner, and it sounds like you got it.
Peyton Manning, he gets paid $10 million a year to throw a football. He doesn't get paid to tackle, or he doesn't get paid to run. He doesn't get paid to dip, dive, and duck, and nothing. He gets paid to throw that football and throw it well. So in any kind of business or relationship, if you bring out that person's strengths and you allow them to do that, and only that, and focus on that, where, you know, me as an artist, I'm a creator, you know. I have to constantly be creating. You know, I do all of my own social media, I'd love to stay that way, my man. Yeah. There's so many things that I do on my own, but, you know, time, it needs to be delegated to where you can focus on a certain thing and nothing else, to where you don't get sidetracked, because you can get 10 times as much done if you're allowed to focus on the one thing that you need to stay focused on.
Cole Parker, you've never worked harder than if you have your own business. If you don't set your time right, you could be working this business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to set it, you know, 9 to 5 or 12 to 3. You got to give time for family, for other things, for life experiences. So I understand about owning a business. I mean, if you had a record label, I'm guessing you're still independent, but if you had a record label, they could take some of that burden off of you, but then you got to give them a big chunk of your money, you know. But if you're independent, you could take care of all that yourself. I mean, I've already learned post and ghost. You know, I have the Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Those are my big four. Yeah. And I post what I'm doing that week, and then ghost. I'll post about this podcast, and then ghost. You know, and that's it. And that way I can go off and do stuff with my family. But how do you make your time work for you? Do you set yourself a schedule?
I've got a schedule. And a lot of times I've got my day is scheduled out from 5:30 to about 7:30. And it can, it gives me a little wiggle room.
5:30 a.m.
8, 9 o'clock, you know, unless I've got something that is due the very next day, whatever the case may be, I won't stop till I get it done. You know, I don't like putting things off, and it's so funny, man, when you stay goal oriented and you've got a list of to-dos and you knock them out, then it may take a month, 3 months, 6 months, but you'll start noticing the difference in the how you operate, where it's just like brushing your teeth. Anything you do for an X amount of time becomes second nature, and these second nature habits are very important to have in any walks of life. I don't want to get on that. I don't want to get on my soapbox about that.
No, I could see you thinking about how your day progresses. And is that 5:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. that you work every day?
That's right.
Yeah. And that's good. 7:30 is pretty respectable. You'll get off and you'll be able to go, Netflix and chill with your girl and enjoy life, a little bit of life.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times, and this is just part of it,
Mm-hmm.
Most folks eat lunch at I had to swap chairs there. Most folks, they eat breakfast at 8:30, 9 o'clock, whenever, and they eat lunch at 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get home after their 8 to 5, they want to eat dinner around 6 or 7 or whatever. I eat when I can. And I don't get to have a set breakfast or have a set lunch, or sometimes I may eat once a day. But there's other things that are far more important than food. You got to buy your time first, because time is one thing you can't get back.
Mm.
You got to buy your time first. So then if you want to take a lunch break for 4 hours, you can, because you've earned it.
I guess, man, but you still got to have. I guess that's something that my wife will take care of for me, because she'll know that I don't eat right, and I don't. She'll say, "Did you eat today?" And she'll feed me. And that she makes sure that things go right. I got a girl that supports me as well, and that's a wonderful thing, man.
That's good.
It's good that you have that in your life. Now, all right, let's go back a little bit. And 15, you're on stage with your dad, and he says, "Get off my stage, because you're taking up too much of my."
I can hear him saying it now.
Yeah, taking up too much of my fandom. So you break off half of his fans, because all those kids were young anyway, and then you go off and do your own show.
I should have found out a way, because stupid me, I get my feelings hurt, right? Because I'm just a kid. He didn't mean anything by that. He was trying to tell me, Cole, that's a compliment. Okay, it's not a bad thing. It's a compliment. But in the meantime, you're taken away from us in a serious enough way where we notice a shift in their demeanor. When we let you get up on a break, and then we get back up after our, and start the next set. They noticed. Bands know, when you have a shift in the demeanor of a crowd. But what I should have done is found out a way to work with them. Because that would have put me, if I know that I want to be a front man, I've always known I want to be a front man, I've got my band right here. So, hey guys, I'll play your stuff. I'll play your shows and, trade it out. Give me some, but I want some front time with y'all behind me. That would have been the smart thing to do, because I'm used to playing solo, my man.
Okay.
It's always been more money, less complications. I don't have to babysit. I don't have to worry about somebody. I'll never forget. I was playing at a place called River Road Country Store, and I was in my 20s.
Where is that
now? Right?
Where is that? Where is that?
This was it was outside of Clarksdale, the place I was born and raised, Clarksdale, Mississippi. Home of the blues, right where Robert Johnson did the deal with who.
Right on the crossroads.
Yep. And so anyway, long story short, I had a band at the time, and my piano player, God love him, great piano player, was playing at this place, River Road Country Store. One of the greatest steaks you'll ever eat. I don't know if Michael is still behind that smoker and grill, but I don't care where you go. You could go to any big name place, and put his stake up against anybody else. Anytime look up River Road Country Store next time you come to a juke joint festival in Clarkston, Mississippi. Anybody that's never been needs to go. Morgan Freeman, he's a real huge part of Clarkston, Mississippi.
Yeah, he's got stuff all over the South. Morgan Freeman does, but I didn't know he was out there in Mississippi as well. But I encourage people to put it on the walking tour. Whenever somebody mentions a good place to go, and I like that you're a tour guide, I tell them to put on the What Makes You Famous walking tour.
So, well, everybody always asks me, Cole, why don't you play the blues? I say, well, Cole, I've got the blues. I was born and raised on that old blues where the guitar's out of tune, and it's just an acoustic guitar, and you can barely understand what the guy's saying, but it's hitting you in the heart. That's the kind of blues I grew up on. And then when I got older, I started listening to guys like Albert King and Stevie Ray Vaughan and a lot of the greats. Muddy Waters. I grew up on all that. That was in my radio in the house growing up.
Well, do you feel like the blues started to get cleaned up and as the sound quality got better, do you think that it lost something? Lost some of that heart?
It's not Delta blues. It may be a form of, like, there's a difference in Chicago blues, Seattle blues, and the Delta blues.
Oh yeah.
The Delta blues is, like I said, an out-of-tune guitar, maybe a harmonica, not much in the band. Maybe 2 or 3 people, and sometimes you can barely understand what the guy's saying, but it's got that sound to it, and you don't have that. And all music is changing, and it worries me in a way, like with country music. I keep asking myself this question because it's very important for me to know and understand who I want to be as an artist. Who do I want to represent?
You get a little.
Who's what's that George Jones song? Who's gonna fill their shoes?
Right.
What kind of shoes am I wanting to fill in country music? And I've made the decision, and it was not a conscious decision. It's just the way I've always been. And that's I love that '90s country sound, where you have the fiddle and the steel guitar, and you might have a B3 in there, and sometimes you'll have a horn section.
Wait a minute. But I'm not a musician. What's a B3?
A B3 is an organ.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's an organ. You got to walk with me. I got to turn on the air in the house. I've been on the road today. We took the kids to the zoo.
Oh, I like that, man. What zoo did you go to?
Memphis Zoo.
Memphis, man, that is a world famous zoo. As many times as I've been to Memphis, I've been to Graceland, I've been to Stax Records, I've been to Sun Records, I've been, Beale Street and all the little touristy things.
So you're familiar with Memphis? That's great.
Oh man, I got the key to the Heartbreak Hotel in my pocket before it burned down. I stayed in room 223. Right across the street from Graceland. So yeah, I've been there quite a few times, but I've never been into the pyramid, and I never what is it I've never been to the Memphis Zoo. What's good about that zoo, man? Tell me about it.
Well, I love the what I love the most about the zoo is that the kids enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's what I love the most. The kids enjoy it. But, I try to take my mind, because I got a bleeding heart, I try to take my mind off the fact that this lion he's not even paying attention to me at all. He sees so many people that he's not shell shocked as to there's a human, 5 feet away from him. To me, that makes me feel bad. If you want my honest opinion, I'm usually quick to give it, I don't really sugarcoat a whole lot. I tell it like it is, and that I don't care. Made me look like a softie. I don't care.
No, there's movies and documentaries about that. You see that lion in the cage. He doesn't want to be in that cage. He wants to be out there in the jungle, hunting, and doing his thing.
Man, I can relate to that lion in that cage. I can relate to you, brother.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
but you know, then when you get out on stage, you get out on the road. You know, do you?
I am so thankful that everybody's back on the road now.
Well, as a traveling musician, you leaving your family behind. You know, that's one of the things that people got to realize when you're going out on the road. And I'm saying, I don't know how far you tour, how far away from your home do you go? Are you home every night, or are some of these tours overnight, couple of weeks?
I've taken some private gigs here and there, but I haven't done any touring. I've got to get my 3 songs that we spent countless hours, man. I love producers and studios, and so much magic happens in those places. It's incredible, but it is tiresome. Especially when you want it to be right. Yeah. You know, the more you care about something, doesn't matter what it is, the more time you're going to put into it. And so even if you don't feel like doing it, you know you got to do it anyway. Well, so we put a lot of time and effort into these songs. Yeah. And I've got 2 more that are going to be coming out. And so when I get all of these songs finished, promoted, and on Spotify, Apple Music, once they're out there racking up the numbers, then I can start promoting those songs all together and start putting myself out there on the road. Now, all right.
So tell me about those 3 songs. You got those 3 songs out there. I guess you're on Spotify and Apple and all that. Tell me about those.
I've got one song. I've got 3 songs recorded.
Okay.
One, Bow Fishing Queen, is on Apple Music and Spotify. You can find it on. I mean, man, I think it's on like 150 different platforms. There's no excuse as to why you cannot listen to that song.
Well, tell me about Bow Fishing Queen. What's that all about?
So Bow Fishing Queen was actually, that was inspired by my best friend, may everything, Stacy Rainer. When I met her, now I love to fish. I don't know many men that don't. Fishing has always been just therapeutic in a way, if any better way to put it. A lot of adrenaline and a lot of therapy, and so it's got a good balance of both. You know, I guess any outdoorsman can relate that to deer hunting, duck hunting, and dove hunting is another favorite of mine. But Stacy, you know, here she is, little country bumpkin that she is, bless her heart, introduced me to night fishing with a bow and arrow. And this bow and arrow has it's got a tube that's mounted onto that bow, and it's full of string. I don't know how many feet you got, but you can shoot way far off, or that you can shoot a fish up close, and it can take off running. You know, and so these fish that we're shooting or have shot in the past, and that Stacy, this is where the song comes from, right? This whole, all it was, you know, hey, this is something that we like to do on the weekends. What do you think? I fell in love with it. It's like an adrenaline rush that you can't replicate it. You know, it's so much. It's very fast paced. It's a lot of fun. Stacy actually likes to do it in the daytime, but me, I said that the nighttime is where it's at. I know it's a lot of, man, there's a lot of bugs, and you know, we're on a pontoon boat, and you got spotlights all the way around it, and I mean, it's insanity. But
okay, all right, I'm born and raised in the Florida Keys, and I know night fishing. You know, I born and raised South Florida, Keys, and when we night fished, we put a spot on the water, and that's how the fish came up. So you're saying you got pontoon boat with spots all around? Is that how you're attracting the fish towards you?
So the actually, what I'm told is that there's a certain RPM on a boat motor. Once you get that Evinrude to the right RPM, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a 1500 or in between 1500 and 2500. So there's a certain RPM, you know, just like Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think in thoughts of frequency and vibration, you know, all that, right? well, fish go off of frequency and vibration. So naturally, you get that boat motor going at a certain idle and RPM, and they just start jumping out of the water.
You are schooling me, man. I gotta go fishing out there.
I like to wait when they jump out of the water, then I'll shoot it. You know. Now these fish, okay, this is a sport, right? There's some that you can eat, but all the fish that we're shooting are considered trash fish, where they're doing harm to the ecosystem in the water. They're doing harm to the other fish that people want to catch and eat. You know, they eat like the brim and the catfish and the bass, all the fish that you like to catch and eat. They're ruining all that, right? And they tear up the
ecosystem or whatever. But what is a trash fish?
So what now?
What is a trash fish? What are you trying to clear up?
So like a gar or a buffalo or a carp.
All right, I could see that. I've heard tell.
Buffaloes. And this is all news to me. I'm talking to you like I know what I'm talking about.
No, that's like getting rid of the barracudas, because really they aren't any good for anything in the water out there in the Keys. That's for sure.
If you can't eat it, or you don't, it's not pleasant to eat.
Yeah,
and it's not doing any harm. It's doing harm to the other fish that you want to eat. Why not turn it into a sport? You know, you need to get rid of them. You need to get them out. So that to me, that's like there's money there. You know, just like we have bass fishing and sport fishing and like Jacob Wheeler's somebody that I enjoy watching in fishing tournaments.
Okay,
they should have the same thing with trash fish. Doing it at night would make it even more exciting. My wheels are turning there. It's like there's money there.
No, I see that. And I've seen shows where they'll shoot certain animals that are just overpowering. And I know that, you know, ecologists and I guess PETA and some of the other groups would frown on that. But then they got to realize the bigger picture. You know, that I think there was one where somebody shot a lion. They paid $50,000 or $100,000 to shoot a lion.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But that $100,000 went towards conservation. It went towards a good, a bigger good.
It's like charitable cause, you know.
Yeah. So I know that there's back and forth on all of that, but as long as we're in tune with nature, and you're even saying that an Evinrude engine, and this by no means is a sponsorship for Evinrude, but you say you put the Evinrude at the right RPMs, those fish are gonna almost jump out of the water into your boat.
That's right. And I learned a lot and these are girls, man. These are girls that just good old country girls that love to hunt and fish. But fishing to me, I really do enjoy it.
I know what you mean about country girls.
When somebody asks me, okay, Cole, if you retire, if you ever do decide to retire, how are you going to spend your time? Mostly fishing.
No, I know what you mean about country girls. Like I said, I'm from South Florida and the Florida Keys. Why do I find myself in Arkansas? I married a hillbilly. She's from Jasper, Arkansas. Harrison, up there in the north of Arkansas. Yeah. So, a proud hillbilly. And I'm glad to be here, man. I'm glad to be here with her. And I'm glad to be here with you, Cole Parker, man. Learning about the man behind the music. I dig it.
Back to 16.
How did you get out on the road by yourself? I mean, because a guitarist has that advantage. A mandolinist has that advantage where you can just pick that instrument up and go busk.
Well, because I came home and played, I turned on the radio and played to it. I got to where I could learn a song before it finished. You know, and I'm not putting myself above, because we're all really good at certain things. And, you know, there's a lot of things that I'm not really good at that another musician is 10 times better than me. But I got to the point where if it was in normal tuning, played in A or you know, A, B, C, D, F, G, whatever, that I could hear that G or hear that D or hear that E or hear that A and tune to it, and then start playing the song before it was over. So it got easier and easier and easier. And then after playing to the radio and listening to the songs so much, I was able to remember the lyrics. So I could by the time I was 19, I was playing professionally in venues. At 19 years old, I can't remember if they had iPhones back when I was 19. Maybe I can't remember.
Probably not. That's
I didn't have a song book. I didn't have a lyric sheets.
16 years ago. You say that's 16 years ago. I don't think there was an iPhone out there. I think it was 2008.
I don't know. I can't. My brain is thinking too fast to think back that far. I know I've got an iPhone 6. I have got no interest in buying a new one until it goes out, and then I got to buy another. Then I'll go up to the 7.
I believe it, man. I had my iPhone 3 for the longest time until the Galaxy Mega came out. Then I gave that up for the 9. I went to Android instead of iPhones, but that's a whole nother story.
So I didn't have I see guys, man, and I hope that they're listening. I see guys now that have an iPhone phone clipped onto their mic stand, and they're able to flip through whatever they want. Now, is it convenient? Yes, but a lot of them will be reading the lyrics off the phone as they're playing. I'll never forget, went to Winners and Losers, that bar in Nashville, Winners and Losers, and I went in there, and it was around 2 or 3 o'clock. Now, I hear Nashville is pretty tough, where they got a lot of noise, okay? They got a lot of people that are wanting to play. So, and I don't know what the best times are. I don't know. I would assume that if you're getting a 9 to 1, that you're usually the best, or 7 to 11, right?
Yeah.
The lunch hours and the coffee hours are the
second
people
best.
People trying to gain their traction.
Right.
Right. So, but it was around 2 o'clock or so, but they had 2 guys singing together that sounded good, but they were losing focus because they were singing from an iPhone clipped to their mic stand. And I didn't grow up with that luxury. I didn't have that. So I had to learn the lyrics. If I didn't know the lyrics, I didn't sing the song.
Yeah.
I didn't. If I didn't know the lyrics, I'd make them up, and you wouldn't be able to tell.
One of the best concerts I ever saw was Greg Kinn down in Coconut Grove and in Miami. And Coconut Grove is a song that was an old song, and it's not by Greg Kinn, but he wanted to give tribute to the people of Coconut Grove. So he started singing a little bit of Coconut Coconut Grove, and he started making up all the lyrics. And I went, that's a professional, man, because really all you need is the melody to keep you going. That's a pro.
I had a guy compliment me. I went to Nashville and I got invited to play at, no offense to the venue, but I can't even remember what it was. Right? But anyway, long story short, I got invited to play. And I got up there and played some Hank Williams Jr. And I like Hank. I like his stuff, but he's not my go-to. But there's a certain song that always gets the crowd pumped every time I play it. Born to Boogie.
Oh, for sure.
Born to Boogie.
Yeah.
Get them pumped. I mean, if the beer wasn't selling before, it will be selling after,
Yeah, if you play that right. Now, are you on your own with a solo guitar? Yeah,
I was playing with my acoustic guitar.
You got a little backing track or anything, or is this all you, a guitar only?
That's right. Of course, I had my PA system. I have to show you my setup before we get off the phone.
No, but no backing track. This is you and a guitar.
Oh yeah, I had nothing, just me, and that's the way I like it.
Yeah.
So I forgot the lyrics. I know this song. I can do it with my eyes closed, And I forgot some lyrics in the song and just made them up. And there was a guy from. He was the one hosting the writers round or whatever it was, and he was like, man, I got to tell you, I haven't seen somebody lose their place in the song as far as, forgetting the lyrics, and recover so well where by the end of the song, you didn't even remember that I had lost my place, and that comes from doing it like a stage is my second home. I grew up on stage. I wish I would have been there was a time, right, when I was maybe 8 years old, maybe somewhere around there, and we were at the Neshoba County Fair. It's a fair in Mississippi, and Faith Hill and David Lee Murphy, I think that's who Dad was playing with at the time. David Lee Murphy, back when that Dust on the Bottle and all that was real hot for him.
Oh yeah.
And so, but Faith Hill and David Lee Murphy and some other openers, openers up and comings. Whether they did something or not, I don't know. But Dad was doing all this kind of stuff all the time, and he would run into some big names, and we would happen to be with him or just together as a family watching Dad play. And I was running around on Faith Hill's bus. She had a hot tub in there, by the way, and this was when she had first she was getting started. That's how nice her bus was. That's how much they thought of her. Let me say.
Well, it's Faith Hill. She's a babe.
Well, you see where and why,
Yeah.
where she is today.
Not only she's a great singer, but she's a dyed-in-the-wool beauty, American beauty right there.
Yeah. Well, they go through their phases. So, but I'm running around on this bus as a little kid, and I got no clue who she is, and don't care. I know that I'm getting to watch my dad play.
That's
I wish. I don't know which to be thankful for. That Dad did it like he was like Faith Hill was just the next person, no big deal. I guess since he didn't act all like blow people up. Didn't matter who he was around, whether it was a somebody or a nobody. He treated everybody equally. And so I didn't know any better.
Yeah. Well, that's a good man. That's why I got into radio, man, is to build people up. That's people like you, Cole Parker. I want people to know about you, look you up, find out more about you, listen to your song, the one song that's out there, and then stay tuned for the other songs that are coming up. Now, the one thing I got from that story, if Born to Boogie is not your go-to song, what is your go-to song?
If I had a go-to song where every time I pick up the guitar, this is the song I want to play, Stacy would be a good answer for that. Me, I pick it up, whatever I'm feeling that day, that's what I'm going to play. And I don't go by set list. I read my crowd, that way you always change it up, You don't ever want to sit down, get people used to listening to the same 30 songs that you're going to do, or however many if you're going to do 4 sets or 2 sets or whatever. I don't use a set list. I read my crowd, go by what I feel. You never know what's going to come out of my pocket. But my go-to song, oh man, I'm drawing a blank, and I listened to it last night.
Well, while you're thinking of that, you're also a child of the 90s. You don't just do country music. You do country-styled other music. I just saw that Gin and Juice on your mandolin. That was fan-bloody-tastic. So,
Waylon Jennings is who I'm thinking about. That's my go-to.
Hey, the man's got 100 hits, man. You got to pick one. And Lukenbach, Texas is probably the one that I grew up with.
Waymore's Blues.
Oh, for sure.
Love Waymore's Blues. What's that other one? There's too many to name.
Oh, you picked a good one.
Now that Gin and Juice song, I've got to apologize to some people, but then again, I don't owe you an apology. Because that song is very lyrically explicit, right? I even had a friend of mine say that I've known for a long time. He said, "Man, you sound great, but that's one song you can't church up or censor." You just can't. And I understand, but the way I don't have to censor myself. I don't have to church myself up. What you see is what you get, and that's what comes out naturally. You know, I don't feel that I'm doing anybody a service by cursing in a song. What you do in your private life is none of my business. But I want an 8-year-old to be able to pick up my album off the shelf, much less an 80-year-old person. 8 to 80, doesn't matter. And as long as that's like the guys that I admire in music. They stayed true to themselves. They never did what was cool, you know, or got with the time, so to speak. And that's a long conversation that I need to have with myself, Mr. DJ Man. You know,
I don't want you to hurt yourself. Very important. Yeah, I don't want you to hurt yourself morally, you know, but then I don't want you to limit yourself as a creative, you know, because then you got on the other side of the track, you got Merle and Willie. You know, they'd sing pretty much anything.
One of Johnny Cash's most iconic pictures.
No limits.
Is it him giving the middle finger? Most iconic picture.
Yeah.
Now, he did church hymns. You know, his heart was right with God. Mm-hmm. We all go through our, shortcomings and whatnot. But if, that's, somebody who says, who do you emulate in music or somebody that you take after? I would say I'm not near as good as George Strait is. My ear may be, but I'm not trained as well as he is. I have the potential. I'm not going to sell myself short, right? I have the potential, and everybody would love to be the next George Strait. But he is someone that if an 8-year-old walked by and you had a George Strait album for sale, you would feel comfortable of your 8-year-old picking up that album and walking off with it, going home and listening to it, and falling in love with it. I want to be the same way. But that Gin and Juice song, and that's the one thing that a lot of artists never do, I guess, because either they're too set in their own ways, scared it's gonna flop, or just don't even care to. I don't know what their excuse is to remain the same. Whether it's good or not, it's always the same stuff. They never kind of broaden their horizons, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, I was visiting my mother one day, and she said, Cole, your aunt gave me a mandolin, and I haven't pulled it out one time, and why don't we pull it out and just tinker with it? She wanted to hear me play it, and it was all out of tune, so I had to go to YouTube. I use YouTube for everything. I don't care whether it's a warning light on my dashboard. I use YouTube for everything. And so I went to YouTube and learned how to tune that mandolin. So that day that I recorded Gin and Juice was the first day I've ever picked up a mandolin. Taught myself how to tune it. I learned 2 chords, and I don't even know really what they are, right? It doesn't matter, To me, that's like focusing on the small things, Now, if you're trying to teach someone or to explain to them how you're doing something, yes, it's important to know. But to do it, you don't need to know the little things, just to do it, right? And I was feeling pretty creative that day. It was a sunny afternoon, and when I picked up that man and learned those 2 chords, I said, hey, that sounds like a song that I know so-and-so, Gin and Juice. And then I went and listened to Gin and Juice, and it was almost identical, but the lyrics fit perfect. And so I had my phone. It's funny, like people that watch videos of people recording music have no idea what goes on behind the phone, in the background. No idea. So when there's a lot of moving parts, right? But that was a spur of the moment thing. I didn't have any lighting, or I didn't have a song sheet, something to read off of. It's just me and an iPhone and a mandolin, and that's the way it came out. And everybody, they loved it. Now I can play the old country stuff, new country stuff. I got, like Luke Bryan. If you ever hear this, I love you, man. But I don't play a lot of his stuff. I like the old stuff. I like Luke Bryan. I admire his work ethic. He's somewhere that I'm not. I got no room to talk about it. You understand?
Man's got 100 hits.
my ear's somewhere else. Long story short, you've got to. I can do all that kind of stuff, and you have to be able to be versatile. Because you never know. You never know what kind of crowds you're going to have. If you're playing live venues and stuff, you may have a full crowd that wants Motown music. If they don't know who you are and they're coming to hear you play, if they know who you are, they're not going to tell you what they want to hear. They already know your stuff, right? So that's what I'm working on. I put yes, I do need the everybody. I love playing live. Man, if you put 4 people in a room and give me a guitar, I'll want to pull it. I'll be chomping at the butt, bit. Pull it out and play. Just give me a couple of people. Yeah, I don't really enjoy playing for just by myself.
You got that right,
that's
man.
where my blood gets pumping. I get more creative, and things like Gin and Juice come out. I was surprised that I did that on my own, and nobody ever really pushed me to think outside the box. It was something that happened naturally. Can't explain it. It's one of those things. And guess what? I got the most reaction out of all ages, all people that I never, that if they knew who Snoop Dogg was, it would just blow their mind, if they actually knew where the song originated, right? But to them, it just sounds like good country.
So many things you touched upon in that little segment is YouTube. A lot of people think you don't even need to go to college anymore because everything you could learn on YouTube. And
you've got no excuse.
Yeah.
No excuse.
And you are a singer, songwriter, so you appreciate lyrics. The rappers that have been rapping for a long time, the ones that rap and stay relevant for a long time are the best lyricists. So that the songs like Gin and Juice and some of those other songs have great lyrics, great bones for music.
I mean, some people laugh and say that, rap, I'm not getting into that conversation. A lot of people say that rap is like Dr. Seuss with a drum beat.
It's poems, it's poetic.
Right. I admire some of it.
Yeah, it's a speech on what's going on in the world. The best stuff is a time capsule of what was happening at that particular time.
So I'm not a Stacy. This is where she comes in. I wish she was fly on the wall right now. She would say, I know that she's the one that has pushed me to do different stuff. I know, Cole, it's not your normal. It's not Willie Whalen and the Boys. It's different, but people resonate with that, and it shows. She's trying to tell me that it really shows my talent and who I am as far as being versatile as an artist.
Yeah.
It's like somebody that's a painter that loves to paint and is really good at painting, but if they were to try and take up pottery, they just might find out that they're really great at that too.
Yeah. No limits, Cole Parker. No limits. Taylor Swift, Willie Nelson, Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton. They could sing whatever and make it sound right. You know, outside of that box. Outside of that box. Don't limit yourself. Oh, I'm only singing country and western. Both kinds of music.
To me, it's remaining true to yourself. And one thing I'll never be is a sellout. No, I'm not for sale. No dollar amount will ever interest me. And
well, a little dollar amount, big bag of money, you know, that'll put you on easy street for a little while, help you take care of your family. Here, have a big bag of money. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
So, well, you know, from what I'm told, or what let's just say from what I've gathered, that record labels are no longer interested in pumping money out. But if you can show them that you don't need them, then that's when they're willing to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, because you've already done all the work. You've already made a name for yourself, and then they come looking to get their piece.
Back to the independent thing, and you asking if I was ever going to go, you don't know, you know. I mean, and it's a big decision for an artist, because you really do. Any artists that are listening to this conversation, you really do get so much. It's just like not going mainstream and staying true to yourself. You get twice and 3 times the compliments being true to yourself and doing everything on your own versus what's that? There's a black country artist,
Charlie Pride.
No, no,
Cowboy Troy.
He's a new age guy.
Cowboy Troy.
I can't think of his name.
Darius Rucker.
No. He's got a TV show.
There's only like 3.
He's got a TV show. But he's independent.
Okay.
Dang it, what's his name? Anyway,
yes.
He's independent. He's got a good woman by his side. You know, no coincidence there. Got a good woman by his side. And he travels and tours and does all of this with no strings attached. Where now, if they put you in a circle of people and you're all touring and you're gone 200 days out of the year, right? If somebody else is doing that for you, that's there again. It's like Peyton Manning, you know, focus on one thing. There are times where if focusing on other things takes away from your actual abilities and your creativity, where it bogs you down, then by all means. But if you can do it on your own, you really get a lot of respect for that. And so I'm kind of in limbo, you know. Do I search out a big label? I know what they want. You know, I know what they need. I know what they're looking for. It's not like it was in 2000 or 1999 or 95. They want you to be able to do everything that they would do for you, because that lets them know that you're taking it seriously. Rather than say, hey, I can sing and play, go put me on the road, you know, put a bunch of money in my pocket, I'll pay you what I owe you, and it's a vicious circle or cycle, you know. So that's where I go to. That's where I say it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You got to stay smart and you got to stay passionate. I never stop creating, never stop putting out new music. I mean, but I didn't know that there was an algorithm to Spotify.
Oh, for sure.
I did not know that. There's so much I'm learning, and that it needs to be learned. Right now, if you can pay someone else to learn all that for you, then by all means.
Yeah.
But everybody starts somewhere, and I'd rather have the foreknowledge,
right,
to where I'll learn how to do it, all these things on my own, to where once I'm able to pay someone else to do it, if they're not doing it to satisfactory, I'll know.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I got you, Cole Parker. You know, we can't do this all by ourselves. If you're at this level, you're at a level right here. You want to get to the next level, you might need to hire a few people. But that's just it, man.
Would take, just like you're doing, people would take time to listen. There's so many artists just like me that deserve their spot on stage. They do. It just takes people taking time out of their day, night, morning, whatever, to listen to them and open them up like an onion and get all those layers out, you know. So I appreciate you having me on. I really do. And I hope the listeners have learned something so far between our conversation.
I was just about to wind it down.
I've got so many plans for Cole Parker music. I deserve to be bringing country music back to where it should be. There's a movement going on right now, and I damn sure, excuse my French, I don't know if I can cuss on the station. You can edit it later if you need to. But I want to be a part of that movement. I want to sing about substance and have lyrics that really mean something. And it's not just the whole beer, truck, same old, you know.
I've heard that one.
Many times. And the same chord progression.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I grew up listening to Ray Charles and Frank Sinatra and all that Motown stuff. That if you were to ask me what's my favorite music aside from country music, right? What do I listen to in my downtime? If I get a chance, I'm listening to Motown. Love it. And it puts soul in you, you know, and you can't be like a huge fan of somebody like James Brown, and then, which, funny enough, I bring up him, nobody could understand what James Brown was saying anyway. It doesn't matter if he had substance in his lyrics or not.
Eddie Murphy had it right. Move it? Yeah. Move it? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he saying? I don't know.
No.
All right, man. Let's wind this down because you got family to get back to. I want you to give shout outs to the people that have helped you along the way. I mean, why are we even? I
appreciate you doing that.
How we connected today. Why are we here? And give shout outs to the people that have helped you make these records and that are helping you to promote yourself and get you to the next level. And also, where can we find you social media wise, and how can they connect with you and book you for their next show?
So, first off, I want to thank God. Second off, none of this, I would not be sitting here talking to you if God had not pointed my feet in a certain direction. And there's a lot of reasons why I shouldn't be here today. Everybody goes through stuff. Everybody does. I'm a very lucky man. So I want to thank God first and foremost. Number two, I want to thank my immediate family always being behind me. I would not be, tomorrow I know it's not promised, but it's sure is looking a lot better because of the people that I've got on my immediate side. That's Stacey Rayner and my mom and my dad. They push me 100%. Always make me question things in the right direction, and challenge me to be better, do better. Always seek more out of myself. There's so many names to thank with my song "Bow Fishing Queen." Number one being Gary Vincent. Gary Vincent is a 2-time Grammy-nominated record producer. He does all Morgan Freeman's voiceovers. He's very known and very trusted individual. I actually did where I did my vocals for Bow Fishing Queen, These Roots, and Back to the 90s. I'm going to talk about These Roots and Back to the 90s, the 2 songs that I've got coming up right at the tail end. But I actually got to do all of my vocals in Morgan Freeman's room on the same microphone that so many great musicians have got to sing on. Like you could, some rooms just have a presence to them, you know, just have a presence. I was very blessed to be able to work with Gary Vincent. He's the best of the best, located in Clarksville, Mississippi. my hometown where I was born and raised. I love it. They've always got they either got a festival going or somebody's filming a movie. They just got done filming a movie there in Clarksdale. That's where they filmed the movie The Help. That and Greenwood. Clarksdale is so, a major part of why I am who I am today, who molded me. I don't think that if I was born in some, big city and didn't have the real down-to-earth people that I was surrounded by, musician-wise, and all walks of life, everybody. So many down-to-earth people. Very lucky for that. And the musicians that were involved in the record, this was the first time we played together, guys. Those of you that are listening, just like I do, that was the first time we had actually played in the studio together as a group, and it couldn't have came out better. Now, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of moving parts, but I had so many great leaders in the rooms that we recorded in, so many, and this has been a dream come true for me, my man. It really, and it's only going to get better. Like, I'm going to have my ups and downs. I'm prepared for that, but I always want to put out the kind of music that's going to not only tickle the ear, but touch the heart. I don't want to just something that sounds good to the ear, and then I want to leave you with something, and that's a part of me. When I'm playing behind the guitar and I'm singing it on stage, I'm leaving you with a part of me, whether it be a song that I've written or a song that somebody else has written. Doesn't matter. Every time I'm on stage, I'd say this all the time. I love music, and you can see it when I'm up on stage. I love music just as much as you do.
Well, I hear you lighting up when you talk about the people that have helped you along the way and your band members.
So many people.
Oh my gosh, you lit up. I see your smiling face. So the people that are listening to the audio version of this, they don't get the video version that I'll be putting out on YouTube, so they can see, how you light up talking about your family, your friends, your people that play with you, your God, definitely.
Alice Haston was on the fiddle. Marlo Dura was on the drums. Michael Wayne Smith was on the guitar, and Michael's son, Justin. I want to give a special shout out to you, my man. You've always been my #1 fan, always been behind me 100,000%. And you bring more energy. It doesn't matter where we play or who you're playing with on stage. You bring more energy to that stage than everybody combined. And I love that about you. And I appreciate all of the love and support throughout the years, my man. And when I make it to where I'm going, I'm bringing you with me. I want you to know that. Now, his mom and dad, Michael, and his wife, ex-wife Lisa, the sweetest people in the world. And they've got a son named Justin, who's been my biggest fan since day one. We've shared the stage together multiple times. And he goes after Justin Moore. That's a musician that he looks up to, and so he takes after Justin a lot. And Justin, Moore, I know it's a long shot, but how's the quote go? Closed mouths don't get fed. Mm. I need this message to be reached out to Justin Moore. He's based in Arkansas just like I am. Hey, neighbor. But he's got a great fan, right? Great fan with Justin. I could not love him more. I'm telling you, man, when I say he brings energy to a stage, and that's what's needed. That's what people come to see that. That's like Garth Brooks, George Strait. People don't come to see him dance around on stage. He could sit in the chair, and play the guitar and sing, right? And nobody would care. They'd love it. They'd clap from start to finish. But then you got guys like Garth Brooks and Jerry Lee Lewis who'll set their guitars and pianos on fire. You never know what they're going to do, right? And so I'm taking like all of this into perspective and honing in who I want to be as an artist. What's important to me, what matters to me, and that's the listener. You know, I want to be different than everything that's coming out on the radio right now. And it is. It's so funny. When a song is different, it's not usually, it's going to go into a category or a playlist of its own in terms of what we're talking about. It's going to go to a playlist of its own. Now, there's a ton of fishing songs out there. You can go to Spotify right now or Apple Music and type in fishing playlist, and it'll play you a ton of songs about fishing. I need to be in those playlists. Why am I not?
You should be.
What's that?
How do you get that algorithm? How do you get? How do you get involved?
That's the homework you got to do.
Yep.
I'm told that the worst thing you can do as a musician is to reach out to somebody directly as an individual. To me, I've always been a people person where I've never had that problem. I can reach out to you directly, and either you want to talk to me or you don't, and I can feel that, and I don't get my feelings hurt. That's the whole sales thing. Where you get thicker skin. But there's an algorithm to it. All those fishing playlists, I deserve to be on. Now, but my music is going to be the same as Alan Jackson was, Travis Tritt, Randy Travis, all that good old 90s country.
Don't want to be like Roy Orbison, where he doesn't even move at all.
Well,
I was always prone to partial to him, and how he just stood there and just with his dark sunglasses and just played, never moved a little bit.
Hey, I'm sure he wasn't hurting too bad when he walked off stage.
Yeah, but you're the
guy. Less like the guy that is jumping off amps and
you're somewhere in the middle.
Guitars, whatnot.
You're somewhere in the middle, Cole Parker.
Now, I'm not going to say that if I don't get a little Hank Williams Jr. Born to Boogie in me while I'm up on stage, something may get lit on fire. You just never know.
All right, man. Well,
but long story short, I want to keep traditional country alive and well. I think it deserves its spot on the radio. All this bro country stuff that's out now. No disrespect to anybody that likes it, loves it, and that's what they put out as a musician. No disrespect whatsoever. Somebody that makes dress shoes doesn't look down on somebody who makes cowboy boots. You're both in the same profession, so to speak. You just do different stuff, So I'm an acquired taste, like a scotch, I want to keep that alive, and I know that there's a lot of listeners out there that when they turn on that radio knob, that they don't hear the click tracks and the same old repetitive chord progressions, and the lyrics are all the same, and it's like taking about 200 lyrics and putting it in one of those Powerball machines and seeing which ones come out.
Throwing darts at a dartboard on a wall.
Right. But that's what the industry is doing. They're taking a handful of words, putting them in a lottery machine, like the jack with the balls with the numbers on it, right? And just seeing which one comes out, and that's what they'll use. All right, we'll use that here. But I want to sing about something that really has substance, no offense. A lot of these guys that are singing about dirt roads and whatnot have never even seen a dirt road.
You don't want to sing about being drunk the day your mom got out of prison and you went to pick her up in the rain in your pickup truck.
I got a feeling that if I was singing, if I was to continue on that legacy of
formula,
music, that formula of music, that I would look a lot rougher today than I do now. Something tells me that, because good lyrics don't come from anything unless you've lived it. You've got to live it to sell it to the listener. You know, to really sell it. I would rather write about stuff that's relatable, and all. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. And the listener can feel when I'm singing that song that I've actually either at one time felt that, done that, sipped that, or said that, whatever, you know. But you're selling yourself, you know. Every song that comes out of your catalog is like a resume. Now, you know, and that's something that a musician has to come to terms with, like the beer drinking songs and partying all night long and all that. That sells alcohol. That makes money. When people come to a concert and you're constantly singing about pouring another one down and whiskey and girls, women, and trucks and all of those, you know, marketable terms, right? That puts people in the seats.
Butts in the buckets.
It does. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but I would rather know that I did country music a service as to doing my. I've been in music too long to now. Somebody that has not spent a lot of years in music. You know, they hadn't been playing since they were 8 years old. Maybe they picked it up at 21, and they're touring right now. I'm not going to name any names, but you know, when it's your time, it's your time. But you're making a name for yourself, and you may not be the most popular because you're not doing what everyone else is doing. You're doing something different, and that's me, brother. I'm doing something different, but I'm remaining true to myself. I'll see where it guides me. You know, like I've always been good at putting poems together. I've always been a softie, where I never hesitated to write a love letter to a girl in high school, or you know, things like that. And I was good about doing that sort of thing. And that kind of, that molds you as a songwriter. That's what I say. If you can put a poem together, then you can put a song in. A song is like a poem with a story, where it's not just something that rhymes, you know. It actually tells a story.
Yeah.
So, you know, I honed in all that stuff earlier on, but, man, where would I be if I had my own Dean Dillon? You know, Dean Dillon was the writer for just about 95% of George Strait stuff.
Okay, kind of a John Prine kind of guy.
Yeah, right. He did everything for George Strait. Now,
yeah, I'm thinking about Check Yes or No. You're talking about writing love letters to girls, and yeah, that's a song that just came to mind. Yeah, right. There's so many of them that where you turn a love letter into a song. You know, it's relatable. It's catchy tune. Now, the one thing as a musician that I am fighting with is that when you go throw, I don't know, Dierks Bentley, somebody new age. So you go throw him in your truck and turn him up and listen to whatever song he's playing. All those speakers are just going crazy. And me, it's like it's more. It might as well be coming out of a record player. Yeah, it doesn't have all that extra boom, 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 and thump, thump, and effects, and this, that, and the other. I'm open. I'm open to ideas. Right. If somebody comes along and says, "Hey, Cole, I'd like to add this to your song. What do you think?"
all I'm showing is that I can do this on my own, but there's a line in the sand where you say, okay, I'm going to remain this way, and I'll be happy with the listeners that I get, or you teeter-totter. You don't lose yourself. You can't lose yourself. Okay, well, you can experiment, right? But don't lose yourself. Don't lose your sense of why you started. Don't lose your sense of who you want to sound. Who you want to sound like. Who the guys that whose shoes are you trying to fill? Now, if I was to add some click tracks and all this extra stuff to my music, it would make it more inviting to the ear of the younger crowd. But I want to catch all ages. I want someone, just like I said, 8 to 80. Doesn't matter. I want to catch them all.
Well, Cole Parker, it sounds like you're heading in the right direction, man. Not only do you have life experience, you got it in the blood. 4 generations of musicians in your blood,
man.
That's
a long time.
And you're doing it. You're taking all those experiences that they had, and that's in your genes, your genetic makeup, and you're making Cole Parker music. It's not anybody else's music. You're going to make music the way you want. Maybe a more stripped down version, because a lot of the new country is just the old rock and roll. That's it's more rockabilly, it's more bass, it's more they're throwing a little hip hop in there, which is fine. Yeah. But you could strip it down and make it a little more classic, and that's where you are right now.
I want to find my happy medium. Now. Like, I want to keep that old country sound where it does have that old feel to it, and it's not new age or all the subwoofers going and electric guitar jamming out, all that. That's all good and great, and there may be a time and place for it. But right now, I'm trying to let the people know my mission is to bring back the original country music back. I can't, and this is just my thought process, I can't imagine how good the walls of the Ryman or the Grand Ole Opry sounded when guys like Merle and Willie and Waylon and Chris Christopherson and Bob Wills, Ernest Tubb, Lefty Frizzell, all those guys. Everything from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, that era. Now, it didn't have a lot of bass and effects on the snare drums and echoes and electric guitar and all that. It didn't have all that, but it didn't need it.
Nope. You'll still hear it played on my system on a Friday night, any given Friday. You'll still hear it sung on a karaoke show that I do. So good music is always going to be good music, man. Well, Cole Parker.
I want to take
go ahead.
That old sound, 90s country, and just a smidge of what the guys are doing today. Well, I'd love to have a hot guitar player, somebody that can bend those guitar strings, and I can do it myself, right? But there again, goes back to the whole thing. Brad Paisley is a good example of somebody that does both very, very well. Mm-hmm. He sings his butt off, and then he flips that switch, goes playing the guitar, and can play all over. And so, I'd like to incorporate that into my music. But there again, like Bob Wills and them, they didn't have that. But Bob Wills had a stand-up steel guitar with it wasn't until a certain year that they came out with pedals on the steel guitar. It used to be just strings, where you didn't have the option of. It made you a better. Maybe there was less to do, but you had to be more precise.
Okay. That's what I thought, man. Because I thought the steel guitar was pretty much just a guitar that you played this way just laying this way.
That's exactly right. And, you know, it's funny enough, I hear steel guitar in the music that we have today, but it's not showcased. It's in the background. They started to do that to a lot of steel guitar players in the 90s. And then the 2000s got worse, and then there'd be, and I don't know, man. I don't know if it was up to the producer or up to the artist, but I want to showcase, not only because he's my dad, but because he's a world-renowned steel guitar player, and he deserves that recognition. So he gets the intro, the outro, and something in the middle, and it's longer than 10 seconds. You know what I mean? And I want to treat my fiddle player. I want the whole. I'd love to have, like, there's been certain artists that have been lucky enough to play with like a 7, 8, 9, 10-piece band, you know, and everybody gets a turn. It may end up being a 6-7 minute song, but it was worth every minute. Now on the radio, you get about what? They don't want it any longer than 4 minutes or something.
Something like that.
Right.
But some of the classics of the 70s that I love.
If you got 7, 8 players, and you break that down into seconds, you see why everybody gets this little piece of the pie, right? So that's another thing about, you know, having few musicians where you can showcase them longer, right? And you really get that feel for the music instead of having all that added extra stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to say that I don't enjoy listening to some of the new country songs with the speakers beating and all that kind of stuff. I do enjoy it, but I can come home and turn on some Bob Wills on one of my JBL portables and go put something on the smoker and have, I mean, it's like I'm in another world, you know. If it does that to me, I know that there's other people out there that can resonate that with that, where that old country sound puts them in another world. Now, I'm going to incorporate a little bit of everything, and that's what musicians. I go back and look at musicians and when they started, and you know, their career and how they evolve as an artist. Now, the true test is to stay true to yourself. You know, like, remember that time Garth Brooks decided he wanted to be Chris Gaines?
Was it a mistake, or was it him just branching out?
Some people loved it. See,
I liked it.
Some people loved it and was kind of all about it. And then, like the true Garth fans were like, "No, Garth, go back to your cowboy hat and your wild shirts and dancing on stage." But there again, you have to take those roads and to come back to who you're supposed to. It's all full circle, you know. And so I'm going to have my experiences as an artist where I maximize my capability, see what I'm made of, put me in. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, you know, to always level up. But I don't want to lose myself in the process.
I think he might have lost himself a little bit in that process. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. You know, but
it's not for me to speculate.
Yeah, I mean, all we can do is be fans and kind of, oh, okay, I see what he was doing. He was just branching out.
Glad he went back.
Yeah,
and now he's doing better than ever. Garth is doing a lot. You know, I worry about him. I don't know. I mean, 200 days on the road, doing 2 shows a day. That's got to be rough.
Yeah.
And if you just go sit in a chair, play the guitar, and sing, that's one thing. But guys like Garth Brooks they can't sit still.
Yeah.
At one end of the stage to the other, and got the pyrotechnics and the whole bit, you know. and that's that's his prerogative.
Yeah, but
that
kind of road work, that kind of road work is hard on
the George Strait.
Yeah,
because he's got that Ace in the Hole band. That's who they're called. Ace in the Hole band. He's had him for more than going on 3 decades or plus. I don't know.
It's one of my favorite songs by him, Ace in the Hole.
So, but George, he's earned it. Gosh dog it, he's earned it. Where you go pay $500 a ticket to go watch George Strait play, and you got a front row seat. And half the show, he may just lean on his guitar and sing. He's not dancing and scooting around the stage or crashing guitars or jumping off high-rise beams or flying through the crowd. None of that. You know? He's just going to lean on his guitar and sing. And that's what the people came to see. And so I want to have that same demeanor, where I don't need all of the I admire them all. It takes a lot of energy to do that, you know. But I want to be able to catch the heart of the listener in a chair, you know, and not there again. You're tickling the eyes and ears, you know. But I want them to, and that's I'm going to hone in on that. And the more songs that I put out, and I'm a good songwriter. I've got about 7 or 8 songs that are sitting in my back pocket that are worthy of recording. But I'm trying to be strategic, you know. I'm learning that there's algorithms and there's certain ways to go about releasing new music, and the unknowing artist can walk into that forest fire and not have a chance. You know, now I mean, if you're good, you're good. Somebody's going to find you. But there's certain ways to not so much speed up the process, but to get you where you want to be faster. And I'm learning the ins and outs. And I'm a sponge, you know. I'm a listener. This interview has me talking, and I'm a listener, you know. I like to soak things in I'll speak when spoken to, or when I feel the need to say something. And so doing these interviews are really out of my comfort zone. But I enjoy doing that because I finally the listener gets to know the man behind the music, just like you said.
That's what I want, man. Cole Parker, we got to wind this thing down. You got a family to get back to. I got a family to get back to. I know that we've learned a little bit about you. Not even we've maybe scratched the surface, but I do want you to come back from time to time as things progress, as new songs come out, when you're going back on the road and you're going to go give live shows. I want you to come back and promote yourself a little bit more, and even talk about your day job, the one that's helping you to keep this dream alive and go further in life, make it. And the whole thing is to keep food on your plate, a roof over your head, and your family happy, pursuit of happiness. I
want to be able to help the people that can't help themselves, because I've been one of them.
Yeah.
I'm still in the trenches. I'm not on the hill. I'm in the trenches, but you've got to get comfortable there. Yeah. You know, and fight your way out. I'm not. It's so funny. The music business. There's a lot of great artists out there that will never be heard, and to me that's so unfair of how things are in today's world. It's all about likes and followers and this, that, and the other, and just like I said, back to when you're on the road traveling, you may find a diner that just sticks out to you, and it's some of the best food you ever had. But you took a chance to sit down at that diner and listen to give that place a chance. And if we would do that to more people, instead of looking at their credentials or how many likes or followers they have, or clout they have, or how well known they are, you know, that when you got it, you got it, and that's it. I mean, of course, if you don't work on it, doesn't matter if you're a golf player or a guitar player. If you don't master your craft every single day, you'll lose it. You know, you will. So, and that's the funny thing about working on yourself every single day, is that things start to happen for you. You didn't know that it lays out the tracks for your train to go full speed. And so I'm always constantly working on myself as much as I can and pushing my limits. There's a lot of things that come with my job that it's all passion. It's not something that I I don't have to force myself to do that. It's, you know, music is something that comes naturally. Like I say, if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. Mm-hmm. And don't spin your wheels, you know. Definitely don't do that. But my takeaway from everything that I'm trying to portray to the listener is that follow your dreams and follow your heart, but take your head with you. Okay? Follow your dreams, follow your heart, but take your head with you. I
think that's a good place to finish right there, man. That's a good...
I'm living the dream. I am not. I'm not on. Not yet. I will be. I always, you know, it's funny. You can speak things, say things all you want, but if you're not putting your feet forward, you'll never get where you want to be in life.
Well, Cole Parker, you got the right people. You got the right mindset. You got people helping you out, and that's a good thing, man. Sounds like you're heading in the right direction, man.
Well, what's that quote by Frank Sinatra? I'll end it on that. He said, "I did it my way." You know, and that's something to be proud of. I'm swimming against the current. You know, not going with the flow. I could easily say, you know what, I'm gonna do exactly what is hot in the market right now, and that's all I'm gonna do that. And it's so funny. You go from when you do what everybody else is doing in your niche or your business, like music is a business. If you do what everybody else is doing, you're only going to get so far. You know, you can have two businesses. This was an analogy that was always pounded in my brain, is that you can have two businesses sitting right next to each other, selling the same thing, painted the same color, and one's going to be doing a little bit better than the other. I mean, right next to each other. And it's the people on the inside. It's not the product it's the service, you know. But it's the people behind the service and the product. You know, I want to surround myself with. I would rather pass up an opportunity to. How do I say that? Because I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. I would rather pass up an opportunity with someone that I do not share the same values with. I'd rather wait because it's only a matter of time. Once your voice gets out there, your name gets out there, people start to know that you're grinding, and they see that you're making waves, so to speak. They'll get behind you as long as they know where you stand and where you want to be. You know, the right people will come along. And so at this time, you know, I feel like I'm doing all this on my own. And it can get tough at times. It's a lot easier for these guys that are sitting around in Nashville and have got nothing but all access passes to great musicians and songwriters and singers, everything. Man, if you're in Nashville and you're trying to make it, you've got no excuse. You're surrounded by good talent and bad talent. You have to filter out the noise. I've been fortunate enough. I'm sitting here talking to you from my gig setup where I play here in Helena, Arkansas. West Helena, Arkansas. I could just about. I could. It'd probably take a couple of minutes, about 8 minutes to get to the bridge. Right here at the Mississippi Bridge, not far at all. That's the only thing separating me from my born and raised home, that Mississippi Delta. There's nothing like it. You know, that it molded me as a person. And I've been all over the world. Everybody asks me where I'm from. Well, I'm from Mississippi. I'm from Arkansas, but I was raised in Mississippi. But I've been all over. I've been everywhere, man. I've seen everything, all of the music from Chicago all the way down to South Texas, and everything in between. And one thing I've learned from all of the musicians that are playing and trying to make a name for themselves is that nobody can want it for you. Nobody can force you to do something that you don't want to do. And you may not be as good as the next person, but if you want it bad enough, you will be. That's anything. And so here I am in little old bitty West Helena, Arkansas. You know, God bless this place. But this doesn't happen often, that I get to talk to you. And I'm so blessed. It goes all the way back to God. God put me on this earth for a purpose. I've had many, I'm not going to even, we can talk about that in another show. That'd be another great podcast to tell you what I've been through as a man at 35 years old. I didn't fall down a mountain at 500-600 feet, whatever it was, that Hank Williams Jr. fell down that mountain. But metaphorically, I fell down a mountain, you know, and I fought my way back up.
Well, let's do that. Let's make people stay tuned for the next time that we get to talk to the absolutely fantastic Cole Parker, man. Now,
for all of my listeners, my page on there's Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I'm never on Twitter. I use Facebook a lot. You can find me at Cole Parker Music on Facebook. My Instagram for the younger generation and for some of the older ones, whoever's listening. Instagram is a great program, social tool to meet like-minded individuals just like myself. There's so many. It's like a band of brothers and sisters on there. So much different than I spend a lot of time on Instagram. But everybody that I know and love and grew up with is on Facebook. So those two places. Instagram is The Cole Parker, all lowercase, The Cole Parker. And my YouTube channel, you can find me at Cole Parker. And all of my Apple Music and Spotify, of course, that's Cole Parker. You can't miss me. I'm in a big 10-gallon Silver Belly Stetson. I'm working on updating all of my stuff. There's so many moving parts, and so I'm every day I'm working on something else, something new, trying to get to the next thing, trying to knock out so many fires. And I love what I do. I love playing for y'all. There's going to be so many great memories and stories to be told behind the music of Cole Parker. And I enjoy sitting here. It's like the campfire chats, you know. Mm-hmm. We get to sit here and talk about the history of music, who influenced me. I've got so many influences. Elvis Presley. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be Elvis, so much to where I had a Halloween costume of his that I kept, and I would dye my hair. I would get my mom to help me dye my hair black, and I'd run around the house trying to be like Elvis Presley with a plastic guitar, you know. And there's so many stories of musicians that started out that same way, but they got pulled in so many different directions, you know. So if you're passionate about something, if you're passionate, don't let other things pull you in different directions. Stick to what you know that you were put on this earth to do. I've got a lot of things that I want to do, my man, but music is it's such an important part of who I am and who I'll always be. And it goes back to that old country music. I love the new stuff. I admire the guys. A lot of work ethic. It's hard business. I know, but I want to keep that old sound alive. And I'm gonna get slowly. My name gets out there. People get to know me, who I'm about, what I'm for, what I stand behind. That American flag that sits right behind me every time I play. You know, I've got so many parts of me that have molded me into the musician that I am. The Motown, Ray Charles, all of that. Everything is incorporated into who I am and my values of where I stand as a musician. I think that's very important. And so I've got 2 more songs that are going to come out soon as, like I said on my Facebook, soon as the cotton bolls turn white in the Mississippi Delta, I'm going to put out a song called These Roots. And it's about me growing up on the farm. I was a farm boy, you know, hop the fence, go chop cotton, do whatever you could do for some weekend money. Farm, you know, that's what I grew up doing, is farming. Or farm hand, should I say. And we had a lot of fun doing that. It molded me, it instilled a lot of integrity and discipline in me as a person. And I think that'll show through my music. And that's what These Roots is all about. Everything that a teenager loves to do in the South, and how you grew up and how you were raised, and your morals and your standards and your faith and all of that incorporated into something that you can relate to as a listener. I don't care if you're from Bangor, Maine. You know, there's always something to learn from someone. And so I'm going to keep coming out with them. I'm being strategic. I'm not just going to pour them all out at once. You know, there's more to it. You know, people don't sit down and tell you this. They don't. They just let you figure it out for yourself. You know, that's life. You know, and I'm up for the challenge. I'm the man for the job. I thoroughly appreciate being here and enjoyed talking with you, and all the listeners that are tuning in. Like I said, you can find me at Cole Parker Music, Facebook, The Cole Parker on Instagram, and Cole Parker on YouTube. And of course, Cole Parker on Spotify, iTunes, and Apple Music. And the other 150 streaming services. No excuse not to find me. I'm going to be in a town near you very soon, getting all of those, everything ironed out. We're very methodical as to how we do stuff. I got a great team pushing behind me. Jill Santabanez and TJ Cates with Nashville Entertainment Weekly. I thank you for so much for taking a chance with me and being behind me 110%. I made a great choice by being with y'all. It's introduced me to some really great people, and I couldn't be more thankful.
Well, there you have it, party people. Cole Parker. Man, I could have talked to him for hours and hours and hours. He's talking about the greats that his dad played with, but I think he's becoming one of the greats. One of my favorite things about going to a live show is, you know, the stories that go behind the music. Yeah, they play some great songs. They play some great music. They give you a great show. And yes, if they just sat in their chair with their guitar, or their mandolin, or whatever instrument they're playing, they could play those songs. And yeah, you'd come away with a a good show, a good experience. But when they tell you those stories, they put those little inflections of, hey, how this song was made. For example, like the bow fishing song that came out. It's about his lady, his muse, the person that is closest to him in his life. And that's how that song came about. So the experiences, the life experiences that Cole Parker has are going to be turned into music, going to be turned into songs that we, the listeners, get the opportunity to listen to, and could change feelings, could make people feel a certain kind of way. And that's the magic of listening to music and hearing a live show or even hearing a record, something on your Spotify or your Apple Music. I guess nobody's getting records anymore too much. Anyway, I see them at the local department stores from time to time. I'll see records and I'll get nostalgic for the old days when records was where it was, and then CDs came out back in the 80s. I do remember when that happened. But he's taking it back to the 90s when he grew up and stripping it down a little bit because maybe the music is getting a little bit convoluted now, and people want that crossover. They don't want to stay in the country or the pop or the rock or the hip hop or the R&B. They don't want to stay in their own little areas, and they want to make sure that it's got crossover crossover success to appeal to more people. And I don't think that's where Cole Parker is. Yeah, he wants to appeal to a lot of people, but he wants to strip it down and take it back to what he likes. And, and people ask me, would I play on RadioWhat.com? Hey, what kind of music do you play? Well, I play the music that I like. And I figure if I like it, somebody else is going to like it. So if Cole Parker likes it, somebody else is going to like it. Hey, I like it. So make sure that you follow Cole Parker around on his social media. Become a Cole Parker stalker. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Thank you so much, Cole Parker, for being on the show and talking to me for a little bit. I look forward to the next time. Yeah, as time progresses. Now, I turn my attention to you, my loyal listener. If you would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.